G'day Gorgeous, and welcome to the podcast that is dedicated to turning entrepreneurial women into a millionaires from the inside out, enriching lives for generations to come. This week's podcast is based on another fabulous question from one of our ladies in our mastermind community, Joanne. Here's her question. Amanda, as an entrepreneur, there are so many ways to define success: money, affluent clients, lifestyle. How do you define success, and when do you know that you've made it? Hang around because it might not be what you think it is. The Gday Gorgeous podcast is where you'll get real, raw and relatable stories, guidance and proven formulas that can help you overcome your frustrations and live a life that you truly love every day because you're worth it. I'm Amanda Jane Clarkson. I'm a best-selling author, inspirational speaker, entrepreneur and millionaires mentor. And if you love the idea of being a millionaires too, and why wouldn't you? Please visit me at gdaygorgeous.com or click in the link in the notes below. And of course, be sure to have your journal and a lovely cup of tea today because I am about to share pure gold with you on the laws of success. Let's jump into the heart of the question right now. Hello, gorgeous ladies. I am here ready for our live podcast number 42. I'll give you a moment to jump on and join me. I am very much looking forward to answering this fabulous question today from one of you. I will share with you, ladies, I've had to be at the doctor again today to have my nose checked out. So here's my big tip for the day. Anyone in Australia, always get your skin checked out. I've had an SCC removed from the side of my nose, not once, but twice. So it's a little sore at the moment, but I'm using this podcast to broadcast the importance of having skin checked out. I do believe it's one of our biggest killers in Australia is skin cancer, and it can start from something tiny that you can barely see. For me, it looked like a little pimple on my nose, but it is all clear now. And that is where I've been this morning. So I've got the big clear from the doctors, but that's my big tip for today. Get your skin checked out every 6 months. These little things can pop up within moments. Mine popped up literally in a 10-day period, from nothing to a full-blown problem in 10 days. So that's my advice for today. It is awesome to see many of you jumping on now. I am about to delve into the podcast number 42. 42 already, and the question from Joanne, as I said, make sure you've got your My Life by Design journal, ladies. I am going to give you 2 keys to success. If you focus on the 2 keys I am going to give you today, you will enjoy success in spades. Thank you for the love hearts right back at you. And so the question from Joanne came in, and the question is, Amanda, as an entrepreneur, there are so many ways to define success: money, affluent clients, lifestyle. How do you define success, and when do you know that you've made it? What a great question. However, today I am going to put a little bit of a spin on the answer that you might expect from me and give you another couple of things to really think about, because there is a lot of things that make up what we define as success, a lot of underlying currents. So I'm not going to be talking about houses and cars and holidays and all that good stuff today that many people define success by. I'm going to be talking about the 2, what I believe are 2 key major players for success, and how anyone can have a successful life if they concentrate on these 2 keys first and foremost every day. Good to see so many of you on here. So make sure you've got your journal, ladies. Sending you all love hearts and big kisses, millionaires ladies, as Helen calls you. So the number one key to success, write this down, and you might say, look, Amanda, you talk about this a lot, but I want to get an underlying flow here, and you'll see how it all ties in beautifully for the question that came in from Joanne. The number one key is self-worth or self-love. And I say the number one key in and around self-worth and self-love is learning to master and control yourself. Learning to control your thoughts, your emotions, your perceptions, your decisions and actions. So why would I say that is the number one key? Here's the truth. Most of us, including me there, when we were growing up, we never feel good enough. We're constantly comparing ourselves to everybody else. And as time's gone on, especially with the social media aspect, I believe it's just gotten worse and worse, and we are constantly looking over our shoulder, comparing ourselves to everybody else in our business, in our relationships, in our finances, in our lifestyle, everything in fact. So growing up in the 70s, you'd look over the neighbour's fence and compare yourself to the Joneses. But these days, we constantly get on the internet and we look at people's lives and we ask ourselves, what's wrong with me? Why aren't I that good? Or why am I not that famous? Or why don't I have the success that they do? And it just seems that people have this lifestyle that sometimes isn't the truth. And so most of us go through our life comparing and never really appreciating or loving what we actually see in the mirror. And the thing is this, we end up having this, what I call herd mentality. What is a herd mentality? We start to conform. We start to think what other people think, believe what we are taught to believe by external influences, so social media, the media at large, our parents, our church groups, all these different influences that teach us how to think. And the problem is, success is based on being able to think for yourself. The problem is most people don't like thinking. Most people just want to do. Most people just want to follow. Now, what I just said there may peeve a few people off, but I'm just speaking the truth. And I'm speaking the truth based on my own journey in life, because I was a follower. I did have the herd mentality and I conformed to what other people want, mainly my parents, my school teachers, and all the people in my environment. I just followed. I didn't know how to think, and I didn't really understand anything about self-education. And here's the thing that I had, my three main epiphanies, and I talk about it a lot throughout my training in life, that my three main epiphanies in life that took me from a life of absolute frustration to creating the life by design that I've always wanted right through since I was a kid in Tassie was, number one epiphany, for things to change, first I must change. That came from Jim Rohn. The second epiphany is formal education will earn you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Second epiphany, all while I was in my 30s going to college. Then the third epiphany, which is the biggest change for me, well, one of the biggest effects on my life that took me from frustration right through to having the life by design that I have always wanted to live, was this one. When the voices and the opinions on the inside become louder than the voices and the opinions on the outside, you've truly begun to master your life. And this is what I'm saying true success is. True success is not looking at what other people are doing. True success is not looking over the fence or on social media and comparing yourself, beating yourself up, worrying that you're not good enough, you're not tall enough, you're not, the right age, the right size, the right education. It doesn't matter. That is not success. The home you live in, the car you drive, that is not necessarily success. I truly define success as character. Success is having the courage and the nuts and the guts, you might like to say, that I like to say, is to break the mold having the courage to break the mold of what other people think your life should be. Now that to me is true success. And I'd even go as far as to say that's true genius. When a person truly begins to understand that they are not here to follow the herd, they are here to think and prosper and become all that they want to become and live the life that they choose to by design, to me that is true genius. That is true success, not getting up every day, going to a mundane job that you don't like, same thing day in, day out, hoping and praying for a different result. Because here's what happens. Your self-worth depletes, and therefore how can you grow your net worth? How can you grow your life worth? It doesn't make sense. And what I would say about that, when you start to really step out of that herd mentality and get your big girl courage pants on, pull those pants on each and every morning, you start to realize that it doesn't have to be the same as it's always been. And the thing is this, you need to think, you need a big chief aim, as Napoleon Hill might call it, or I like to say your what and your why. What do you want for your life and why do you want it? Because success is not a straight road. Success is a life journey. We never arrive. Every time we hit a goal, we want something more. We want to expand. That is the purpose of life. And so the great thing about that is that there's so much variety. It's exciting. You wake up each and every day and your day's planned according to what's important for you. Isn't that more of a life worth living? And I have to ask the question, and I'd love an answer or some input here, maybe a love heart, and thank you for all the love hearts right back at you. Isn't that more of a life worth living? And wouldn't you define success as waking up and going, wow, I'm in control of my destiny. I don't need to think like the masses. I can master my own life and I can think for myself. Formal education versus self-education. What do you need to learn? What books do you need to read? What classes do you need to attend? Open up your mind. And I love to say, the imagination is the gateway to the future. Everything is possible. And I can say this with certainty and certainly with a little bit of zest because this has been my whole life. I used to be broke mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and definitely financially until I pulled those big girl courage pants on and I said, enough is enough. Now, that didn't happen till I was in my 30s. And so this is the great thing. It doesn't matter your age, your background, your education. All that matters is where you're going, not where you've been. And I say this, self-worth is success. Wouldn't you agree? Because when you raise your self-worth and you truly start to create that life, think about it, plan for it, go out there and create the life that you dream about. And I know you have the dreams within you. That elevates your self-worth, which what happens then? It opens up the doors of opportunity, and therefore you have more people and circumstances and situations that come to you. Because here's the thing about money and success. Money is shy and you've got to romance it into your life. But if your self-worth is low, money won't be attracted to you. And as you elevate your self-worth by putting on your big girl courage pants, understanding what your big chief aim in life is, what you want, why you want it, and actually having the courage to step away from the norm, and with all this stuff going on in the world right now, you can truly see the mass mentality, okay, versus the masters. This is why you want to master your mind, to master your destiny. What happens is, money will stay away from those who live in fear. Money stays away from those who are frightened, have the herd mentality. And so that all entwines the word what we call success. And so for me, when I was in my 30s and I really started to understand that these weren't just quotes, This has become my life, and this is how I live my life. And you might want to call it an obsession. For self-education for me is an obsession. I never wanted a normal life, and I don't think that there's anything exciting about a normal life for me anyway. I wanted to test myself. I wanted to grow. I wanted to see what I was made of, because I actually failed everything at school. I was told I was dumb, I wouldn't amount to much, but I didn't want to buy into that. I didn't really believe it at a deep level. I've always wanted to make something of my life. And for me, the big chief aim for me was always freedom. Always that freedom to live my life how I wanted, while I was helping other people get what they want. But yours might be different than that. So think about it. What is your what? What is your why? And that number one key is self-worth, raising that self-love. And wouldn't you say self-governance and a life by design is really success? That's how I define it. When you wake up of a morning and you have your day planned out, you've got all your priorities written out, you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, you understand that like everybody, you have your up days, your down days, your everything in between days. But because you are on your own pathway, you're actually doing what you love, the challenges just don't seem that bad. The challenges seem so much easier. The challenges are interesting. And I always say to people, find a problem and give people a solution. Isn't that success? Isn't that a life worth living? That's how I define success. When you can show other people the light, when you can wake up of a morning and say, how am I going to change somebody else's life today? How am I going to help somebody get through their day with more ease? How am I going to pass the torch? How am I going to, give someone a big smile today and really make a difference? Isn't that success? See, I define that as success far more than I do the cars and the holidays. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Please don't think that I'm knocking that, because I love all that too. But, it all begins with self. So you can probably see that if you have low self-esteem or a low self-worth, then success eludes you. And this is why formal education versus self-education for me is so important. The last thing I want to say on that key number one, which all comes back to you, is, I remember when I heard that message, when the voices on the inside become louder than the voices and the opinions on the outside, you've truly begun to master your life. I never saw the future for myself in the way that I live it today. I had the dream, but I didn't know how that was going to happen. And it was only when I started to live that quote. That's not my quote, it belongs to John D. Martini, but I began to live the quote. Turn away from the people who don't believe in you. Or if you can't turn away, stop sharing your dreams with people. Find your community. You must have the mastermind community and the mentors who can help you. Those who believe in you when your belief is not where it needs to be. We all start out somewhere, right? And I remember I started out at the lowest of the low, no self-worth, very low confidence. I didn't know what I wanted. But inch by inch, and I had so many mentors around me. And in fact, my first mentor who made such an impact on my life was a woman. And I remember looking up to this woman and thinking to myself, one day I would love to have her confidence. One day I would love to impact people like she impacts people. She was a teacher. One day I would love to stand at the front of the room and shine the light on other people. Never once did I think I would really like to have her car. Never once did I think I'd like to live where she does. I think that most of us as human beings, and I can certainly speak for women, give me a sign if you agree, is that we all want to contribute in some way. I've never met a person who doesn't want to contribute, have that connection, make an impact, make a difference in somebody's life. And so that takes courage, and that's where the whole foundation of success begins, with you. And I remember after that, when I started living and not worrying about what other people said about me. Yes, they laughed. Yes, they ridiculed me. I was fearful, no doubt about it. I was worried that I'd lose my money. I was worried that I'd fail. I was worried that I wasn't good enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't young enough. I wasn't smart enough. All of the fears that you all have, I have them too. But what is the difference? I have just made a commitment that my life by design far, far outweighs a life of conformity or a life by default or a life by accident. So only you can answer that. So to keep going, my second key point to success is gratitude. Now, some of you might not think that I would say about gratitude, but here's what I know to be true. When you are grateful for what you already have and you accept you are where you are based on your previous perceptions, your thoughts and decisions and your actions, but you are grateful. And this is where most people are constantly driven by lack. Most people, and I call them herd mentality, not you people, no one listening to this podcast, of course, but herd mentality, always looking of what they haven't got in life, wishing and hoping and praying instead of going, wow, life is so rich. And this is what I teach. We are all, us women, we are already a millionairess on the inside. We've just got to know that. But the thing is this, when you actually do your gratefuls each and every day, and I'm not talking about, yeah, Amanda, I'll just do them in my head as I'm walking along the beach. No, I'm talking physical. I have been doing this since 2003. Every day I have dozens of journals. I do no less than 20 gratefuls in the gym every single day. And I have found by writing everything down that I am grateful for, that's coming to me, so things that I want to attract into my life, I write them down in the now. What happens is my heart opens up, my mind opens up, and I get these fabulous new ideas for my business. I get these amazing ideas on how I can serve more people, how I can help other people change their lives. What do you think happens to my life? As a result, my life becomes more enriched. It opens up the heart, it opens up the gateway to possibility. But more importantly, what does gratitude do? Gratitude raises our vibrational point of attraction. You think about it, but it's got to be a physical motion. It's not just about doing it in your head. Writing has a power. It helps create brand new neural pathways in your brain, and it starts to change and form amazing habits. Bad habits to amazing habits of success. It is a writing action that I love to do each and every day, because as you write, you relax. It's kind of like meditation. The heart opens up and you start to see that life is pretty damn good. You know, I'm grateful for my health, the blue sky, the birds chirping, and it really gets you present. And for me, that is success. That's how I define success, is every morning I get the opportunity to actually be present in my own life and understand that, you know, we have a pretty damn good life if we choose to. It's just how you look at it, you know, and gratitude, the more you are grateful for, the more you will have to be grateful for. So what does that mean around success and money? As you raise your vibrational point of attraction just through doing your gratefuls, what do you think is going to happen? People want to be around you. You have a certain vibe. Have you ever had anyone say to you, oh, I love being around you. Your energy is so good. You make me feel good. I don't know what it is about you, but when I'm in your presence or when you're around, I just like being with you. Have any of you had that? I bet you have. It's because you're at a vibration that's higher than most people. This is why I say self-governance, that is success. Gratitude is success. And what happens then? People want to get to know you. They want to do business with you. They're asking you questions. What do you do that I can do? Tell me about your business. How can I be more like you? How can I live my life by design? And you think about your business. All of you are entrepreneurial women in this community. How can you tap in to gratitude to grow your success, attract more money? Because the higher your vibrational point of attraction, the more money and opportunity will flow to you. And that is what I define success. You see, most people chase success. You're wasting your freaking time. You can't chase success. You must become success. God, I hope you're writing this down, ladies. I'm getting all hyped up just talking about it because this has been my life. I know it to be true because I've lived it every single day of my life. And yes, I have my good days, my bad days, my everything in between days, but I turn it into gratitude. Even this cancer thing that I've just had on my nose twice in the last month, and I sent out a message for anyone in Australia, get your skin checked every 6 months. But I try and flip it and I go, well, wow, how can I turn something like this into gratitude? And life is short. And I always say to people, life is short. Your job is to get out of bed and ask yourself, do I love my life? Yes or no? If it's a yes, fantastic, you're on track. If it's a no, do something about it. You're not a dog or a cat. You can do something about it. And it doesn't take long to change bad habits to good habits. And how does that affect you? It affects you in your money, with your financial situation, your business grows, your spirituality grows with that, love for self, love for others, better relationships. This is how I define success. When you have made it in life, when you truly are living your life by design, not by default, and certainly not by desperation. If you are living a life by default or desperation, you can turn it around sooner than you think just by starting your gratitude journal. This is not just something new age and something woo-woo. I can promise you that I am a very pragmatic person. I am a business person, entrepreneurial businesswoman. I have been for 35 years. This is not woo-woo. And if I could leave you with the biggest gift of all, you take those two keys, self-worth and gratitude, and you can absolutely enjoy success in spades. So ladies, that is my podcast for the day. Maybe we could call that one a rampage, but you can see I'm speaking from my heart. I'm speaking with you in mind. I want for you what I know you want for you. You deserve it. You have come here to shine, not shrink. You've come here to share your gifts and your talents. You have come here to make the world a better place. Not to change the world, not to fix the world, but to leave a footprint, to impact in a positive way. Ask yourself, are you successful or do you have the herd mentality? So I would love to know what you say or think about what I have just shared with you. You don't necessarily have to agree with me, but questions, comments are so welcome. And my ladies inside my community, please share this podcast with your friends and your family and those people that you know this truthful and raw and real information, the impact that it can have on other people. Please get it out there and share it. I really appreciate it. So that is it, ladies. If you have a burning question that you would love for me to turn into a podcast, I will not use your name. I'll always change your name. Please send it to support@gdaygorgeous.com. I love answering questions. You'll always get information based on real, raw, and relatable situations and stories, not just stuff made up. But if I can help you in any way, I would really love to do that. Thank you for joining me. Mwah! I love you all so much. And big cyber hugs. What another podcast there. I hope you took gold from today's podcast and understand, like I said, that success is an absolute inside job. And if you focus on the two keys being self-worth and gratitude, you will enjoy success in spades. Again, till next week, I so appreciate you tuning in to the Gday Gorgeous podcast that is dedicated to turning entrepreneurial women into a millionairess from the inside out, enriching lives for generations to come. And you know it, I would be super grateful if you would please share this podcast with your girlfriends, your family, your work friends, and others that you know would greatly benefit from the raw, real, and relatable stuff that I share each and every week. Lastly, to find out more about my Millionairess mentoring and everything for the entrepreneurial women, pop over and visit us at gdaygorgeous.com. And until next week, be bold, be courageous, and even more fabulous. Bye for now.